Hi guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Kemisinola Afuape. Today I'll be sharing with you a tutorial on how to make this viral dress that has been trending on Pinterest and Facebook. The dress has a front slit, a V-neck, and also pockets. So I'll just be sharing with you a tutorial on how to cut and also how to sew this. Don't forget to put on your notification bell and subscribe to my channel. To kickstart the pattern drafting of our dress, I'll be starting with the full length as usual. The pattern paper cannot accommodate the full length, so I'll be adding the rest when I place the pattern paper on the fabric to cut later. So now the next thing to do now is to get our half length. Our half length for this dress is 17 inches. And then also our bust line, and our bust line for this dress is 9 inches. 9 inches and 17 inches. So I'll be marking it on the other side so as to get a straight line. I'll mark 9 inches and also 17 inches. The next thing to do is to get my ruler to rule a straight line on the bust line and also on the half length, which is also our waistline. So now I'm just going to label the bust line and also the waistline. The next thing to do now is to get my measuring tape and place on the waistline so as to locate my hip line. And I'll be measuring 9 inches also to locate the hip line. I'll get my ruler and also rule a straight line on the hip line. So now this is our hip line. So now the top of our pattern paper is the shoulder line. We have our bust line, we have the waist, the hip line, and also the hem line. We are going to be adding 5 inches, so I'm just putting that there so as to know when I'm cutting, and that 5 inches is with the hem line plus 1 inch. So now the next thing to do is to get my shoulder line, my shoulder divided by 2. I'll be marking that there. So sorry, my camera is not showing the top of the pattern paper. Also marking the shoulder measurement on the bust line, which is 7.5 inches. And I'm just going to take my ruler and rule a straight line from the shoulder line to the bust line. So after doing this, the next thing is to come down by 1 inch on the shoulder line. This is for the shoulder slant. And whatever we have left, we have 8 inches, mark 4 inches, then mark 1 inch inward. To get my armhole curve, I'll be marking the bust measurement on the bust lines, and our bust measurement divided by 4 plus 1 inch for sewing allowance. Bust divided by 4 plus 1 inch for sewing allowance. Then after marking that on the bust line, the next thing to do is to get my armhole curve. I'll be using my pattern curve to get this. You could use your free hand if you don't have an armhole curve. So just watch closely what I'm doing. I'm aligning the 3 lines, the 3 markings together to get the armhole curve. So after getting the armhole curve, the next thing to do now, we've gotten our bust line divided by 4. Now the next thing is to get our waistline. Our waist divided by 4 plus 1 inch for that, plus another 1 inch for sewing allowance. So waist divided by 4 plus 1 for that, plus another 1 inch for sewing allowance. So after marking this on the waistline, we're going to be going to our hip line. the hip line divided by 4 also, plus 1 inch for sewing allowance. So now, because we are making a straight dress, not a penciled dress, whatever we have on the hip line is what I'm going to be taking to the hem line. So I'll be marking the same thing on the hem line. Now I'm just going to be using my freehand to curve the side of our dress. So after doing this, this is how our dress is looking now. We've added our sewing allowances. This pattern will be for the purpose of the front and also the back of our dress. So I'm going to be marking the back waistline, the back neckline first. And our back neckline is 3 inches by 1.5 inch. So now after marking the 1.5 inch, the next thing is I'll be using my freehand to just curve the neckline for the back. I'm going to be cutting the back first, and also don't forget your shoulder slant that you'll be marking from the 1 inch to the tip of your neckline. Now after doing this, I'm just going to cut this out, but before cutting out, don't forget to add 1/2 inch to the armhole. Remember, we've added sewing allowances to the side, and also I will be adding 5 inch to the hem of the dress. And also, since we are cutting the back, we are going to be adding 1 inch, not 1/2 inches, 1 inch for zipper allowance. Remember, this is the back, to add 1 inch for zipper allowance. So now after cutting out, this is the back, this is the zipper allowance. I've gone ahead to mark 1/2 inch inward at the waist of the back to avoid bulging, and also the 5 inch allowance to complete my dress full length. So now after cutting the back, that's the back. The next thing now is the front. To cut the front neckline, I've gone ahead to mark 11 inches. That's the depth of our neckline for the front. Now, because we're adding an half inch extension, plain material at the front, so I'll just be marking 1 inch at that point. Since the width of the material is 1 inch, so I'm just marking 1 inch there. And on the 11 inches, I've gone ahead to go in by 1/2 inches. So I'll be marking from that 1 inch to the 1/2 inch. I just hope you understand what I just said. Our neckline is 11 inches. I went in by 1/2 inch and also 1 inch at the top, and then marked it to get this neckline. I'm gonna have to cut it out now. So now I'm just going to be placing this on my material and also adding the necessary allowances. Remember, the center front is folded. So this is the front pattern after cutting on the fabric. So now I'm just going to divide the front into two. Since we cut on fold, you can see the 1/2 inch that has been added to the armhole, and also the 5 inches that I've added to complete the full length of our dress. So now after dividing the front into two, I have to mark the dart. Remember, we have a dart on this dress. So I'm just going to go ahead and mark the dart now on both the front and also at the back. My dart will be starting at the under bust of my dress. So that's what I'm marking here. And I'm also using my nipple to nipple measurements to get where my dart is going to be. So now this is the dart for the front. I'm just going to be using my office pin to pin my pattern paper on the fabric in place so I can mark at the back also. So now after pinning the necessary places, I'm going to be taking my chalk to just chalk where the office pins are. So I'll do the same thing for the back and also sew the dart and then come back to show you the next step. So now this is dart. I'm gonna have to sew the dart for both the front and also the back of our dress. This is the back, this is the front, and this is the back of the dress. So we are going to be working on the back of the dress first before we go to the front. So now I'm just going to be taking a bias to turn the neckline, the neck for the back of the dress. So I'll be using this bias to turn the neckline. So after turning the neckline for the back of our dress, this is it. So now the next thing to do is to place the back on each other, right sides facing each other, because now I want to add a zipper to the dress. I'll be measuring the full length of the zipper and also creating an equal space of that measurement on the back of our dress. So now I'll be measuring it. I'm creating a 22 inches space for to accommodate the zipper. So 22 inches. After creating that space and marking, I'll be sewing down whatever is left with the 1 inch allowance that has been added. You know, we added 1 inch for the zipper, so that's what I'll just be sewing straight down. After sewing that, I'll be adding the zipper to the dress. So now this is the back of our dress. After adding the zipper to it, you can see the zipper is smooth. So this is the wrong side. Now we are going to be moving to the front of the dress. We've sewn in our dart. Now I'm placing it right sides facing each other. So after placing it right sides facing each other, I want to cut out 1 inch allowance at the front. So I'm just going to be marking from that marking at the front. I'll be marking 1 inch straight down because I want to cut that out. We are going to be adding a plain material to the front, so I just want to cut this out so to add a plain material to the front. So I'll be marking 1 inch now straight down from that, marking the 11 inches that we measured the other time. Note this 11 inches is optional. You could use 7 inches, you could use 8 inches. It depends on how low your client wants the dress to be, how low they want their neckline to be, or how you want your neckline to be. So I'm just using 11 inches here. You could use 8, 10, depends on you. So now after marking the 1 inch, I'll be using my ruler to rule a straight line on that 1 inch. And if you have been watching this channel from the beginning to this point and you haven't clicked the subscribe button below, just kindly do that now and also put on your notification. Don't forget to share my videos and also to like and put the comments in the comments box. So after rolling this down now, I'm just going to cut this out. So after cutting out now, I'm going to be notching the 11 inches just to recognize our neckline when I'm sewing. So I'll be notching that 11 inches. So now the next thing to do is I'll be measuring what we have here from the shoulder line all the way to the full length, because that measurement is what I'll be using to cut the extension, the plain material we are going to be adding at the front. So now the next thing to do is to fold the hem of the dress. I added 1 inch allowance to the hem, so I'm just going to be folding this. So now I've gone ahead to fold the hem of the front of our dress. After folding, I've also gone ahead to cut a 3 inches width strap, and also the length is the full length of the dress before folding the hem. You know, we measured before folding the hem, so that's the length of this strap, and also the width is 3 inches. Now I'm just going to fold the strap like this into half and go to my ironing table to iron them like this. So now the two straps for the right and the left side of the dress, this is how the strap is looking after ironing. So you can see the marking the iron has left on the strap at the middle. So now I'm just going to be placing them right sides facing each other like this. So the next thing to do is to mark the neckline. The neckline we added is 11 inches. I'm going to be marking from the top of the strap. I'll be marking 11 inches and using my chalk to indicate there. So now the next thing to do is to mark the slit opening. Our slit opening for the dress plus the hemming allowance is 11 inches. Remember, if you're not having a slit opening, you can just sew from the 11 inches straight down to the end of the strap. So now I've gone ahead to sew from the 11 inches straight to the 11 inches that we marked at the end for the slit opening. So I've gone ahead to sew the middle. I sewed on the line that the iron has left on the strap, so that's where we sewed. I sewed the two together. So now you can see the neckline, and also you can see the slit opening at the down part. The next thing to do now is to join the strap to the dress. So the dress is facing right up, right sides facing up now. So I'll just be joining like this and sewing with 1/2 inch all the way down to the hem line. And you know, we've joined the hem line of the dress, so I'll just be folding the remaining one in. That's on the strap. So now I'll also be sewing the same thing on the other side, and don't forget to top stitch. So now I've joined the strap to the dress. I've joined the strap to the dress and also to top stitch. Don't forget to top stitch just to make your work look neater. So that's the slit at the down, and that's our neckline. So I'm just going to be placing the back on the front now, right sides facing each other, and just join our shoulder with 1/2 inch. And also fold the hem line of the back of our dress. We folded the front, now it's the back. Now I've joined the shoulders together and also folded the hem line of the back of our dress. Now the next thing to do is to add our pocket before joining the side of our dress. So make sure your dress is well aligned. So to join our pocket now, to add our pocket to the dress, the pocket is going to be starting from the waistline, and our waistline is also our half length, which is 17 inches. I went ahead to mark 17 inches on both sides of the dress. And our pocket opening is going to be 7 inches, but I'll be marking 8 inches here because we are going to be folding, we are going to be sewing in 1/2 inch on both sides. So I'm marking 8 inches now. So after marking the 8 inches for our pocket opening, to cut the pocket, I just folded my material, my leftover material, into 4. You can see the folded part. I measured the pocket opening, which is 8 inch, and I just placed my hand just to get, just watch what I'm doing, you understand. Just curve the top this way, and I will just be cutting this out. Remember, it is folded, so cutting this makes it 4, 2 pockets for each side of the dress. So now after cutting, I'm just going to be cutting the folded part out so as to have 4 pieces for our pocket. So to add the pockets to the dress, I'll be notching the part, the waistline, and also the 8 inch that we measured the other time. I'll be notching the 17 inches, that's the waistline. Make sure your dress is well aligned so you don't notch the wrong side. So I'll be notching on the 17 inches and also notching on the 8 inches. So after notching, I'll be placing my pocket on the dress from the 17 inches to the 8 inches. That's the 8 inches that we added. So after pinning, I'm just going to be sewing down 1/2 inch on all sides of the pocket, sewing down 1/2 inch. So now after adding the pocket to the dress, I'm gonna need to sew 1/2 inch. So now the next thing is to sew the side of our dress. I'm going to align the dress, the front and the back together, and also make sure the pockets are aligned, and join with 1 inch and 1/2 inch around the pocket. So now after joining our dress and also the pocket, this is the right side of our dress. You can see our dress is almost complete. Now I'm just going to be measuring the armhole so I can know how to cut my sleeve. I'll be giving a proper tutorial on how to cut a sleeve, but now I'm just going to be using my free hand to cut instead of pattern drafting. So just bear with me. So I'll just brush through how I cut this sleeve. First, I measured the full length plus 1 inch. The 1 inch is for hemming, that's 10 inches. Note that this material is folded into 4, so I'll just be cutting the 2 sleeves together. So after marking the full length of the sleeve, I went down by 2.5 inches. So I'm just going to be using my free hand to curve from that to the tip of the sleeve. So I'll just be curving. So after curving, I'm just going to, the round sleeve, I'll be dividing that by 2 plus 1 inch for sewing allowance. So I'll be adding 1 inch for sewing allowance. And also whatever has been measured at the armhole, I'll be measuring the same thing here and marking that. That's 10 inches. I'll be marking that, and also don't forget to add your sewing allowance. So I'll just be ruling. I'm going to be using my free hand to get that. So now this is our sleeve. I'll cut this out. So after cutting out, we have our 2 sleeves. I'll be joining with 1 inch and also folding the down part of the sleeve with 1 inch that has been added. So after folding and also joining, this is our 2 sleeves. I'll be adding them to the dress with 1/2 inch. So after adding the sleeve to the dress, this is how our dress is looking. This is the back of the dress, and also with the sleeve, you can sight the zipper, the pocket, and this is the front, the slit, and also the neckline. So what are you waiting for? Why don't you click the subscribe button below and also put on your notification so you can have access to tutorial videos like this. Thank you guys for the support. I really appreciate it.